What's up, guys? It's your girl Kizzy, and I'm back with another video. Hey, hi, hello. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for your support. Let's get into it. So today I want to talk about duality. Duality is very interesting because it's basically allowing two things to exist that are in contrast to one another and accepting them and embracing them both for what they are. So an example of duality could be happiness and sadness. An example of duality could be power and powerlessness. An example of duality could be light and dark. Nature is dualistic. The same way that there is dead grass, there is alive grass. The same way that there are dead plants, there are alive plants. The same way that a butterfly goes from a caterpillar to a butterfly is contrast, because they're different things, but it's part of the same thing. When you think about, if you want to think about anything, try to think about something that's dualistic in nature, right? But also think about yourself. You are you are dualistic in nature. I am dualistic in nature. As humans, we are dualistic in nature because the nature of life, right? The innateness of life is duality. Everything exists in duality. So you can't have one without the other. You can't have yin without yang. You can't have the feminine without the masculine. You need both energies, right? And both energies are acceptable. Both energies are powerful. Both energies are potent. What I'm learning in life is how to allow duality to exist in all things, because it does, and to allow the contradicting nature of myself to be embraced and be shown, right? Just because I'm sad some days doesn't mean I'm not going to be happy some days. Just because I have joyful moments doesn't mean I won't have moments of pity. Just because I have moments of powerlessness or self-doubt doesn't mean I won't have moments of power and self-trust, right? The point is, we have to learn how to allow things to exist as they are, but embrace both of life's extremes, because in nature, literally, but also literally, like figuratively, in life's nature, things are dualistic. All things exist at one time, and we don't have to be one or the other, right? And I think it's also about, embracing all sides of you, the sad part of you, the happy part of you, because they're both you, and they both deserve to be seen, and they both deserve love. Now, of course, they both feel different, right? But what does that mean? Our sadness deserves the same love that our happiness does. We deserve to sit in our happiness the same way we sit in our sadness. The same way we sit in our sadness, the same way we deserve to sit in our happiness. And so it's really about allowing and flowing and being with the duality of life, being with all parts of you, even the contradicting ones, because inevitably as a human, we're going to contradict ourselves a lot of the time, because we can be anything we want to be. We're many things and nothing at all. So, duality, it's an interesting subject, because it's like, wow, I can be both. Like, I can really live and embrace both my happy and sadness. Yes. My happiness and sadness. Yes, you can, right? It's about, I say, and I do this, sit with my sad emotions, right? And I really sit with them. But you wanna give your sadness the same amount of attention and love and compassion you would give your happiness. And you don't want to just give your happiness all this and give your sadness this, or give your sadness this and give your happiness this, because it's duality, right? It's about embracing all of you, all the parts of you, not just the ones that are easy to deal with or easier to deal with, or the ones that are bright and light, and not the ones that are dark and heavy. Now, of course, the heavy feelings can be harder to deal with, right? They're going to feel different, absolutely. But does that mean that they don't both deserve your attention? They don't both deserve your love and compassion and care? contradicting things can both exist at the same time. And it doesn't take away from one or the other. It's about balancing them both, giving them both the care and tenderness and love and compassion that they need, both the embracing that they need, and not just saying, okay, well, I'm gonna love this one but hate this one. Okay, well, I'm gonna sit with this one but leave that one, because they're both you. And it's about learning to love and embrace and enjoy all of you, even the sad parts, right? Like when I'm sad, obviously I'm not going to be like, oh, I'm sad. But like, I'm going to be like, I'm sad. And I'm going to accept that I'm sad and embrace that I'm sad and acknowledge that I'm sad and feel that, right? And sit with that, because I know that this sadness is not the end of me, because there is duality in everything. I'll get back to that happy place. I'll get back to that chill place. I'll get back to that zen. But right now, this is where I am. And I can embrace this, but also realize and recognize this is not going to stay forever. This is not the end all be all. This is a present moment that I am having and experiencing. And this feeling deserves to experience me. We deserve to be here together, right? We deserve to hold space for one another and give each other that reassurance that we're here no matter what. What was I gonna say? And so it's like, I'm sitting here with my sad emotions, and this is not to say, I'm going to be rushing out of them, because you don't want to rush out of them. You want to sit with them, but it's about sitting in that and knowing that this is not the end all be all. It's about sitting in it and having a shadow of gratitude, a shadow of this is okay, because this is not the end, right? And it's also about not rushing through that to get to whatever you want to get to, because that'll always be there, right? The happy times and the chill times and the zen times and the times where you're not in your emotions are always going to be there. But when those not so pretty parts come up, you can sit with those too and still recognize that, and that doesn't take away from that. It's just duality. It's just two things existing at once. Hell, you could even be having the happiest day of your life and then get sad suddenly. And it's not that you didn't just have a happy time and you just weren't having a great day, and that you didn't just have a great time at the park and walking and enjoy your time and all that. But it's just to say that now you're sad. Now you're this, and you can be both happy and sad, especially when you're moving on to a new phase in your life. You can be both grateful, but also wanting more. You can be both annoyed, but also at peace. You can be both of many things, and you don't have to be one or the other. But in the case that you are in the moment one or the other, right? Like if you're sad and you're not happy, just know that you will always and can always get back to that happy place, and that this space is not the only space you'll ever be in. Because I found myself, as an avoidant attachment, wanting to avoid the emotions, wanting to avoid the sad parts, wanting to avoid my intense emotions, right? Because it's like, oh my God, if I go into those intense emotions, if I go into that sadness, if I go into that pain, I'm never going to get out of it. We think we're never going to get out of it. We think that that is the end all be all. But me going into that sadness is not the end all be all. That's just the beginning, if anything, because once you release, once you feel your feelings, once you sit with them, it allows you to create space, but it also allows you to gain more perspective after that's gone. But being stuck on the feelings and avoiding them, it clouds our judgment. It doesn't allow us to really have many options, because we're not giving ourselves the options by blocking ourselves off, like I do. Right? We're not always going to feel our emotions. We're not always going to be ready and be like, yeah, let's feel our emotions. But you'll know when it's time, right? And your emotions are calling you to look at them and sit with them and embrace them, all of them, because you have so many. Somehow I'm happy, but also somehow I'm sad, right? It's like, just because I sit with my sad emotions doesn't mean I'll never go back to happy. And I think it's about embracing both the happy and sad, for lack of like a bigger word, right? Happy and sad. But like, embracing the happy and sad moments, because just because you're sad, just because I'm sad and I I don't really want to look at my emotions, it's not really the best thing to do to say, okay, I'm not going to look at them. Okay, I'm not going to look at them. Okay, I'm not going to look at them, because I don't want to go into that, because I feel like if I go into that, I'm not going to come out, right? I'm going to be stuck in that. Granted, maybe you'll be stuck there for a few days. Maybe it'll linger around you, the feeling of blueness. Maybe this will happen. Maybe it won't just feel it and then be done. But it's about knowing that that is not the end all be all. And after you feel that, after you go through that, you can always do other things to lift yourself up. You can always get back into that high vibe again without thinking that you'll be stuck there. Because I feel like I found myself thinking that, I don't want to think about that, because if I go there, like, I'll be stuck in this bad space. But it's about the perspective of that, right? Because is it really a bad space, or are we looking at it as a bad space? Because really, it's just you. It's just your emotions. It's just the duality of you. You can't always be happy, right? You can't always be like, yeah, right? You can't always be like ready for the day and da-da-da-da. You're gonna have days where you're like, I'm over this, like, literally, what the hell, and that's okay. It's about embracing that duality. Just as the sun embraces the moon, just as the moon embraces the sun, just as the storm embraces the rain, just as the storm embraces the rainbow, just as everything flows, allow yourself to flow, because two or more even contradicting things can exist at one time, right? Because I feel like, for example, people that are jealous, you can be jealous of someone but also admire them so deeply at the same time. You can be envious of someone but at the same time be so congratulatory to them, right? Haters are low-key just fans, right? And that's the duality of it. And so, I find duality existing in a lot of spaces in my life, especially with me, because I feel like I just am a lot of things, and I'm just like a really wild character, and like you can't really put a label on me. And sometimes I've wanted to put a label on me because I feel like other people want to have a distinct label for me. They want to know, what are you? What do you like? Who are you? What is she? Like, you can't put a read on me because I'm dualistic, and I embrace the duality of me. I embrace everything that I am, even if it's contradicting as fuck. It's still me. You're contradicting. You are, whether you see it or not, recognize it or not, we're all contradicting. And nothing is black and white. There's always gray area if you choose to see it. The same way if I'm in my sadness, me thinking I'm going to be stuck in this sadness and I'm never going to go back to my happy times or my zen or my chill. Is that really true? Is that really true? Right? But the same way we avoid our emotions, we're also going to have moments where we want to embrace our emotions. But the more that we embrace our emotions, and the more that we, just take a break and not avoid them, we learn how to balance them and exist in duality. Yeah, okay, I'll feel this out. Even like while you're just chilling, like while you're watching a movie, while you're doing whatever you're doing, you're still feeling your emotions. Your mind is still active. You're still balancing out. So I think it's just less about actively avoiding them, like no, and stepping in more of a space that's like, okay, I hear them out. Okay, I can do this. Okay, because you recognize that there is duality in everything, and you're always going to get back to the good times. Thinking about how two things can exist at once, I think a lot of times in this world especially, we like to make one thing, and we need to know what the one thing is, and that's it. There's nothing else. But that's not true. The good doesn't negate the bad doesn't negate the good. They're both just there in their dualistic nature. Everything is dualistic in nature, but in our nature, innately, everything has duality to it. Just because I'm super happy one day, does that mean I'm going to be super happy the next day? Maybe. I could be, right? I could not be. But it's about being okay with that and allowing that, Because you'll know, and you know that it'll always keep turning around. It'll always keep doing its thing that you're not really in control of, because we're not really in control of what wants to come up when it wants to come up. It just comes up, whether it's good feelings or bad feelings. They just come up, and we are just here to decipher them, to deal with them, to handle them, and show them love and kindness and care. So if you avoid your emotions, is that bad? No, I don't think it's bad to avoid your emotions, because I think as a human, there are times when we have to, but there are also times where we just want to because we don't feel like dealing with it. Is it okay to not feel like dealing with your emotions all the time? Absolutely, because that's just not, you're not always going to want to do that. But at the same time, it's important to have a balance of it and not just avoid them so much that now it's off balance, right? One is getting more attention than the other. It's about recognizing that it's going to exist in duality whether you want it to or not. And being okay with that and allowing that. We can't have love without pain, right? We can't have good without evil. Like two things can both exist, and two things can both be seen for what they are. And I think it's important to just note that everything's always going to exist in duality. Everything is dualistic in nature. There's no way to get around it. There's no way to go perfectly about it, because we're imperfect human beings, because we're literal human beings, right? And at our core, we're souls. At our core, we're souls. The same way with where it's like oneness, right? We're all one, but yet we are separate human beings. We do have separate needs and wants and boundaries. Two things can exist at one time. I can not want you in my life, and I can want nothing to do with you, but I can also wish you the best and have love for you. You know, just because I don't want you in my life doesn't mean I hate you. It's not just like that simple, right? Some people could not want someone in their life and they could hate them, right? But in my case, it's like, just because I let you go doesn't mean that I am villainizing you. Just because I say no doesn't mean that I won't say yes sometimes. Just because, like, anything can exist. And it's about allowing anything to exist and embracing the fact that anything can exist. Balance is where it's at. That's where it's at. You don't want to be too leaned over in one or the other. Sometimes, of course, again, you are going to be in spaces where you are in one or the other, where you are in a space where your life is just very happy. It's going very well. But also, you're going to have to also recognize that there will still be some downtimes. There will still be some pain. There could still be some pain, right? Who's to say? But it's about flowing and allowing everything to be that comes your way and knowing that you can handle it. You are equipped. I am equipped to handle whatever comes our way, my way. You know, we think that we get in these situations and we can't handle them. This is too much for me. I can't handle this. There's no way. But the universe, spirit, God, whatever you believe in, would not put you in something, again, that I've said this before, that you cannot handle, that you cannot get out of, that there is no solution for. There's always a solution, but it's about being open to the solutions. It's about being open to duality. It's about being open to perspective. It's about being open to change, right? Because things are ever evolving, ever evolving. Even it's like confidence. Just because I'm confident doesn't mean I don't doubt myself. Just because I'm confident doesn't mean I don't have insecurities. But insecurities and confidence and doubt and confidence can both exist at the same time, somewhat in the same realm, right? Doesn't mean we have confidence and self-doubt and like but it's like we have confidence and then we have self-doubt. We have confidence and self-doubt somewhere in here, and they're just working together. But it's about finding the balance so that they're cohesive, so that they're aligned, so that they can talk to one another rather than you know, not fighting each other, but working together, because they both know they're dualistic. So there's duality in all things. You know, take a second to think about what in your life is dualistic. What can you think of that you're like, oh yeah, Because granted, it's gonna be a lot of things. Just as you have an empty cup of coffee, you can have a full cup of coffee. Just as you have a broken glass, you can have a built glass. Just as you have a open window, you can have a closed window. Just as you have a lake of waves, the same way you can have a lake that doesn't have waves. The same way you have a tornado, you can have a sunny ass, rainbow ass, flower ass day. You know what I mean? Like, just think about what is dualistic in your life. How are you dualistic? How are you existing with contradicting things and a multitude of things that are not necessarily explainable? It's okay for things to not always have an explanation that is clear cut, like black and white. Because in life there's gray area. That's just what it is. Nothing's ever gonna be this or that. There's always another way. And I think the other way is duality, because everything is dualistic. And I think the more we acknowledge and accept duality, and that contracting, but contradicting things can exist at one time, the more we welcome in our human nature, the more we welcome in the experience of life and a passion for life and an understanding for life, because we recognize this doesn't negate that. That can still be this and that can still be this. I can still be sad while at the same time being so happy. I can be grateful and still be ungrateful, and want more. I can be a bitch, but also be a sweetheart. It's not about saying no, can't be a bitch, no, can't be a sweetheart, only be a bitch, don't be a sweetheart, only be emotional, don't be not emotional. It's about finding the balance between them and allowing the dualistic nature of them both to exist. And I think it's fun. It's kind of fun when you think about it, because it's like, wow, really? Like, I can be whatever I want to be? I can exist of a multitude of things, and it doesn't matter, because I think a lot of times as humans, we want to be one or the other. Like I was saying, we want to have this or that, but it's not that simple. It's just really not that simple. And, it's like, well, I guess that's another topic, thinking about like black and white and the gray area. But lots of things can exist while at the same time contradicting one another. And that's okay. It's not about berating yourself, making yourself wrong, making yourself feel bad, negating yourself, avoiding yourself. It's about acknowledging and embracing and accepting and owning yourself and learning that. And I'm learning that every single day in every single way. And I think it's important that I wanted to share duality, because I'm learning duality, because duality is really in all things, and it does exist everywhere. And we don't have to limit ourselves. We can be many things and nothing at all. We can all be one, but also be literal separate souls and separate entities and separate bodies. But does that negate the fact that we all are similar in some certain way, how, shape, or form? No, not at all. Not at all. I think that your duality, the nature of you, is beautiful. The nature of me is beautiful. The nature of humans is beautiful, because we are just souls living in human vessels, living out the human experience. Our souls don't care about definitions and defining and labels and this and that. That's our human minds and our human vessels that are trying to do this and this and this and this and this and this. But it don't gotta be like that. It don't gotta be like that. Anything can exist just because you say so, because you make it so. As humans, we be wanting to complicate stuff. Real tea, we just be wanting to complicate stuff. And let's calm that down. Let's just bring it down a notch. Bring it down a notch. Bring it down a notch. Because it's actually kind of wild when you think about it, that we're literal human beings and we try to limit ourselves and make ourselves have to be certain things, only be one thing, can't have a balance, can't have this, can't do this, when we can. We can. But it's the judgment of the world and our experiences that tell us that we can't be dualistic. You're either this or that, and you can't be both, because those are contradicting. But it's okay for it to be contradicting. A lot of things in this world are contradicting. Doesn't mean they don't still go together. Doesn't mean they can't still work together. Doesn't mean they can't still balance out. It's about balance and finding that balance, owning that balance, and allowing. Like the same way you're smart in some areas is the same way you're going to be dumb in some areas. The same way you have so much knowledge in some areas is the same way you're going to not have as much knowledge in some areas. Does that mean you're overall smart? Does it mean you're overall dumb? No, it just means that you know some things and you don't know some things, and you're not going to know everything, and it's okay. It's about balancing what you do know and what you don't know, and not acting as if you have opinions on something, or you have facts about something that you don't have anything facts on, and you don't have any opinions on because you just don't know enough about it. So before I end this video, I'm gonna get a card or some cards for us from the Oracle Energy deck. Spirit, for my YouTube fam watching this video, tuning in, what message do you have for us? What message can you give to us before I end this video? Alright, Spirit, to me and through me. For this video, my YouTube fam. For this video and my YouTube fam. For this video, my YouTube fam. What do you have, Spirit? What you got? What you got? What you got? What you got? Thank you. Let's see. Oh my god, if this is yin and yang. Oh. I was about to say. Woo! So we got 4th chakra, Archangel Raphael. And we have Angel's Balance. And we have Caring Connections. So Archangel Raphael helps with self-love and compassion. And Angel of Balance is about bringing in balance, having balance, finding balance. And Caring Connections is about having caring connections coming in, forming caring connections. So I'm getting allow yourself to find self-compassion and acceptance and love within. And he's here to help you deal with this, right? To help you deal with this. Allow yourself to find this loving and compassionate balance within. Embracing your duality, embracing all that you are. Right? Here's balance. Which is so funny because I was talking about balance. I feel like balance is very important at this time too, because a lot of things are happening in the world, but also in my personal life, and I'm sure also your personal life, that you're really having to do a balancing act, because a lot of things are just changing and a lot of things are happening for a lot of us. Right? So it's about finding and embracing and owning that love for yourself, who you are, having compassion for who you are, and allowing caring connections to come in based off of this newfound love and compassion that you have for yourself, based off of this balancing act that you are trying to do with yourself in accordance to loving yourself and giving yourself more compassion and hearing yourself out more and experiencing the duality of all that you are and having compassion and holding space for that, all that you are. Balancing it, right? It's an act, a balancing act. So that you can allow in caring connections, real connections that will genuinely love and embrace you for who you are, the duality of you, all of you, the contradicting parts of you, your icks, your ticks, your this, your that, your highs, your lows, your sides, your downs, your ups, your spins, your tens, everything. So that when these new people find you, when you reconnect with old people, or when you find these new people and you meet these new people, they'll be able to see you and you'll be able to see you, right? And this doesn't happen overnight, because it's not going to ever be perfect or spot on or, direct, because there's duality in everything, right? But allow yourself to take that space, to take that time, to appreciate who you are and what you bring and the contradicting parts of you and the duality of you, because there's duality in nature. Everything is dualistic in nature. And it's definitely something to recognize and realize and own as a part of life, and not steer away from just because you feel like this person needs to know this clearly, or this person, because who cares, you know? And that's another thing. As humans, we say, stop caring about what everybody thinks, right? Don't care about what everybody thinks. But as humans, we're just designed for connection. So we're automatically going to care about what everybody thinks. Even if we say, don't care about what everybody thinks, I don't care about what everybody thinks. We do care about what everybody thinks. But it's about how much are we willing to care about what everybody thinks and neglect ourselves, right? Both of those things can exist at one time. The same sentence I can say, don't care about what other people think, I can say, but I care about what other people think. It's contradicting, but it's true. I don't care, but also I do care. And that's okay. It doesn't have to be, oh, you can't say you care and you don't care. I can say whatever I want because I'm a human being living, I'm a soul living in a human being body, okay? Don't limit yourself in that way. If you're going to limit yourself, don't let it be in that way, because you are many things and yet nothing at all. And who's going to check you, boo? So thank you so much for tuning into this video. Thank you so much for I'm just like laughing at myself. Thank you so much for being here. You're pretty awesome. Walk away from all that shit that tries to tell you that you have to be this or that, and that you can't be many things at once, that you can't be contradicting, because we're all contradicting. We're all many things at once, and that's okay. Okay? I love you, and I'll see you on my next video, beautiful soul. Peace!